Farewell, Bob Lisi TV Repair in Manchester, Missouri. Here is a tribute film to a local St. Louis father-son business that lasted 74 years, 44 of them in this very 19th century building. I filmed this in May of 2021 along with 3 other endangered historic buildings in Manchester, Missouri, only one of which lives to see 2023. And spoiler alert, it wasn't this one. However, at this time it was the only one that had an active business in it versus being vacant with condemnation tags. Two of the structures heavily featured in another film were demolished by December, yet this hyper-relic TV repair store managed to keep kicking well into 2022. But the grind of progress would once again brush aside history before year's end. These things cannot and should not always be stopped. Those who champion causes of preserving historical structures need to pick their battles, especially when there isn't enough time, motivation, and money to save everything. Fortunately, after over a century of practice and progress with audiovisual recording since humanity invented it, any sentimental fool like me can be there to capture more posterity than ever in the latest digital storage containers, for hopefully at least a few more decades. And on that note, I proudly present to you exclusive, unreplicable, possibly unique tour footage of this building from before its final fate was known, with some descriptional account of my dizzying experience filming it. I use the word dizzying in the best possible way because this really is an epitome example of a shooting star filming opportunity I happened to yet again luck upon. I stopped to film this corner of pre-demolished historic houses, and even though this was before I started running around with my self-appointed title of sentimental video artist, I somehow said the right things to the guy at the right time when he was in the right mood, and ended up with a golden chance to film what I think of as a pre-abandoned building in addition to being pre-demolished. Even though I reviewed all the raw footage, my recollection of facts and insight acquired are still subject to my only human levels of reliability. This TV repair shop was started in 1948 by the father of the business owner who let me film it, who I will just call Bob from here on. The original location was just inside the St. Louis city border on McCausland Avenue by the High Point Theater, but his dad moved the operation out to Manchester, Missouri in the early 1970s after being robbed a 13th time, resulting in just another one of the countless casualties of urban flight. After a few years under a fair and amicable lease on the other side of Highway 141, new building owners with an overmotivated financial recoupment goal prompted the purchase and move to this building in 1978. Bob was already working for his dad by this time and had to repair the previous owner's negligence of keeping the pipes from freezing before they could get back to fixing televisions. 43 years later, he's still minding the store that outlived 99% of any ever like it, and surely has been watching the writing manifest on the wall for decades, probably wondering just how many more pages could this chapter have, and how the book will end. When I think about it, it's astounding I got to make this film. Bob was full of energy and vigor, emitting the sense he was battling multiple fronts and generally depleted of anyone's lifetime ration of patience, and therefore I found it uncanny how friendly and accommodating he was to some odd guy he didn't know or anything about, strolling in babbling something or another about documenting posterity. Even after voluntarily turning on the lights for me to film and letting me have at it, he still didn't seem to fully get my admittedly unusual in the world of normal people mission. When I asked to film upstairs in the rear workshop areas, he simply said, "It's a mess, but go for it," without the slightest reservation. My incorrect read on him would have expected an unsurprising no, which I try not to let stop me from asking anyway because the risk of rejection can be worth it, as this case proves. But I guess his read on me was of an innocent, trustworthy, optimistic, and mostly harmless kind of guy, an opinion I strive to earn. Upon review, our conversation wasn't totally coherent. He was in his place, and I was in my special mode of, oh no, a long-standing local business in an old building is about to close and be demolished and I want to try and film it. It was only after a few minutes of authorized filming that a flash of concern of who I was and what I wanted the film for crossed his mind. He asked if I was with the county or something, which I assured him I wasn't, and reiterated my motive again to his satisfaction. While he was boastfully keeping the doors open until the bitter end, the building and lot were all ready for sale, and remained so until I guess the best he could get came along. The building by this point had developed an overwhelming number of issues that would have incurred 7 figures worth of expense to anyone new who would have taken occupancy. It made no sense for Bob to put any more money into it, and the last thing he needed was some campaign to save the building without buying it, as that would be a nightmare for his exit strategy. And now it seems like this might be a good place in the film to interject a little sentimentorial. I loved filming this time capsule relic. This is the real deal. I don't think what looking at these images makes me feel could be classified as sadness, but it does make me ponder mortality in a way I think gives me more appreciation and respect for it. It occurs to me my life might be simpler if I had the money to just go buy a Corvette to tow a matching cigarette boat with. Some may see an old, untidy, unpolished, unupdated, and half-a-century archaic business at death's door that most people probably thought went extinct already, and they aren't wrong. But I'm not going to deride it or the owners because I also see something that stood the test of time, something that prioritized function in its natural chaos with nary a thought to wasting time and money on flash without substance.
Granted, do I want to hurt an animal? No. But I mean, damn, I don't care now. It's to the point where I'm sick of it, and I'm going to close them weeds up when I get a chance. I even just put good chicken wire up there or something good so they can't get in, but I'm going to do something. But I'm fed up with this shit.
This business didn't need to be flashy. They didn't care about conducting customer service surveys, how many 5-star reviews they had online, or loyalty rewards programs. No effort appears to have ever been made to replace the carpet or linoleum, much less create some app for you to download. They sold you pre-Dish Network era satellite equipment and fixture TV, and then you paid them, presumably at a reasonable price and quality that kept the doors open since the Philco Television Playhouse debuted on NBC. It appears to me they pulled a Johnny Londoff, owning their own building and lot, and passed the savings on to you. And this story is not sad. It is in fact respectable. It's just its time has come. Bob made it through a good long service to the community, and his dues are paid, and I hope he's enjoying his retirement with pride of a life's work well done. But none of all that matters now, for the final chapter is finished and the book is now closed, and I really should have gone with TV metaphors rather than print-based ones. But none of that matters now, for the national anthem is played and this concludes another broadcast day. And this story of footage has aged in the vault well beyond any concern to any party now, only able to provide fond curiosity and remembrance and perhaps unsatisfiable resent. That's an upside to fermented footage, but I don't mean to make you think this is a common practice because it certainly isn't. That's just highfalutin spin on my part. But it might make you wonder, if this was filmed nearly 3 years before it was published, what else might be lurking in the lone repository vaults of the Dozen Speed Film Foundation? Thank you for watching.